As Annie said, my name is Tiffany Mrotek, and I'm the Director of Career Pathways in American Forests, and I'm really excited to be here to share with you the work that we're doing in American Forests to help achieve tree equity across the country. So all of us in this room, we know that trees are incredible. They're the best nature-based solution. They're beautiful, they provide shade, cool the air, absorb heat. And research even shows that when you're around trees, even if it's just one tree outside of your school window that you get to look at, your blood pressure lowers and you experience stress-reducing effects. Which also means that people who don't have access to trees don't get these amazing benefits and also receive some negative effects from the lack of trees too. So currently, richer, whiter neighborhoods have better and higher tree canopy and receive the greatest benefits from trees. The green map shows level of income. So if you look at the map here, the darker the green, the higher the income. The red maps show surface temperature. So the darker the red, the hotter the surface temperature. So as you can see, there is an inverse correlation here. The higher the income, the lower the surface temperature. And as we know, trees have a lot to do with the temperature of areas. This also means that communities living in lower income areas are experiencing the highest temperatures and are suffering from heat-related death and respiratory illnesses. Okay, so who gets these benefits and who don't isn't an innocent accident. It's a direct effect of discriminatory policies. This is a map here of formerly redlined communities in Baltimore, and the map on the right shows tree canopy. So I'm sure folks in this room have heard about redlining, and maybe some of you even understand how redlining affects tree cover in neighborhoods. But for those who need a little bit of a refresher, I'm just going to share. So redlining was an explicit segregationist practice that started in the 1930s, where the federal government assigned neighborhoods grades A, or what we call green lined, through D, redlined, as a way to indicate levels of risk for giving out home loans. And this was based solely on demographics. Green lines were drawn around wealthier neighborhoods of predominantly US-born white folks, and red lines were drawn around neighborhoods with mostly Black residents or neighborhoods near areas where mostly Black people lived. So this means Black communities were isolated, denied loans, and were essentially set up to fail. And so even though redlining technically ended in the 1970s, the negative impacts of nearly 4 decades of this practice can still be felt today, including when it comes to trees. So currently, neighborhoods that were redlined in the 1930s have far fewer trees and are on average 10 degrees hotter in the summer than non-redlined neighborhoods. City governments were building infrastructure in non-redlined neighborhoods and communities, including green infrastructure like trees, and neglected and intentionally disinvested from these undesirable neighborhoods, which has reverberating effects that can be felt today. And so residents in these neighborhoods with very few trees are at greater risk, as I said, of heat-related illnesses and deaths, reduced air quality, which obviously affects respiratory illnesses, increased energy costs, and potential flooding and more. What is tree equity? Tree equity is a term that American Forests coined a few years ago, and it includes the idea that everyone gets to experience the benefits of trees no matter where they are or who they are. And so our vision at American Forests is that everyone gets the health, wealth, and climate resilience benefits that trees provide. And we know it's not an easy task, and it's something that a lot of us have to work together to achieve. And there are a lot of complicated challenges also when we're talking about creating infrastructure in communities that may not trust their local governments, and like have other historical challenges that will impact the success of achieving these goals. But with strategic approaches to planning, community engagement, and planting, I think we're going to get there. In order to plant these much needed trees to achieve tree equity, we need people. And the tree care industry currently has a shortage of people qualified to care for trees, and the need is expected to grow. So as you can see from this table here, urban forestry is going to see an 11% increase in job openings for entry-level positions through 2028. And many of these job postings are some of these entry-level positions like planting, trimming, and pruning trees. And the industry has incredible career opportunities, but a lot of folks outside the industry aren't necessarily aware of that. And as you can see from like the little green box here, the industry has fairly low barriers to entry. And so we at American Forest aim to create and support programs and initiatives that assist people, particularly those affected first and worst by climate change, to finding pathways into the industry. This is just a diagram I like to show that illustrates what a career pathway can look like. There are a ton of ways that you can enter into the arboriculture field and things that you can do with it and different directions that you can take. But this is just one example that shows some of the possibilities that you can have. And like once you are entering into the field at any of these points and how you can continue to grow. And as I said, a lot of folks like outside of the industry just don't know about the possibilities and the potential for growth. So what are some ways that we can build these pathways for people who can benefit most from these opportunities? One way is thinking through education and training models that are inclusive, supportive, and adaptive. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs. I mainly want to focus on pre-apprenticeship programs, but in order to give you a little bit of context, I'm going to give you a little bit of an understanding of what apprenticeship programs look like as well. So registered apprenticeship is an employer-driven model. Apprenticeship programs help companies successfully recruit, develop, and retain a highly skilled workforce for the jobs that they need filled. A registered apprenticeship program, or what I'm going to call RAP, R-A-P, is a term used for apprenticeship programs that have a formal structure in which employers have established learning standards that meet the national and state quality and expectations. Apprenticeship programs are paid jobs. A lot of folks think that they are kind of just training programs that don't provide an opportunity to start, but really they are paid jobs that are in employment situations, and they provide on-the-job learning from an experienced mentor, and they have related classroom instruction on the technical and academic aspects of the job. The training is rooted in industry scale standards and competencies. And when individuals successfully complete an apprenticeship program, they receive a nationally recognized credential that's recognized all over the industry and can be a really helpful tool for folks to be able to grow and move within the industry. So pre-apprenticeship programs are a way for folks who may not necessarily be immediately ready to join an apprenticeship program or into employment, and they might not be just able to succeed right away. And so these programs help to support this learning and help folks to be successful. So these participants generally live in low-income areas and face barriers to traditional employment. They might have little to no experience, like work experience or education attainment, and they need additional support to build on the strengths that they already have and the resources that they have as well. And so an officially Department of Labor designated pre-apprenticeship program has a documented partnership with at least one RAP, registered apprenticeship program. But unfortunately, in arboriculture, we don't have a lot of registered apprenticeship programs around the country. And so folks who are starting these pre-apprenticeship programs may run into some challenges to get that official designation. But honestly, this model can be beneficial to any job seeker preparing to enter into the field. And so we still encourage this model, and we still think it's a useful one, even if there aren't registered apprenticeship programs in your area. And the folks who may want to facilitate a training or a program like this are nonprofits, academic institutions, municipalities, and other entities with interest in preparing folks for the arboriculture field. So as I said, these programs prepare participants with work readiness skills as well as industry-related skills and provide wraparound services to mitigate some of those personal challenges that they may face that impede their success. Some of the key components, as you can see here, are a formal connection to employers and apprenticeship programs, an opportunity to earn industry recognized credentials, and hands-on experiential learning. So it sounds kind of similar to the apprenticeship program, but whereas an apprenticeship program is the job with the employer right away, the pre-apprenticeship program is going to be housed maybe within a nonprofit and is going to have some of these mirroring components that are going to allow folks to have that experience so they can be more successful in an apprenticeship program or in an employment situation right after their completion of this program. And I want to call out wraparound services because I think it's a really crucial component to supporting success of participants in these programs. And they can vary depending on the program. But some of the main components that are often included are case management and career coaching, mentorship, and financial support to help with transportation, childcare, housing, food, certification, and license fees. So this is not just a training, but it's like more of a support system that can facilitate success. So we really want to encourage folks to just take that time to invest in developing their wraparound services. And it's not just a training where you sit in a classroom and you're learning these hard skills, but you're also receiving that support. So folks who may have some of these barriers that I mentioned, or who just may not have a lot of work experience, may need somebody to walk alongside them through case management and just see what's going on in their lives and help them to focus some of their goals for the future and help them to figure out what paths they would like to take, see what, if folks have a criminal background or, if they have other challenges that they have continued to rub up against every single time they've been looking for a job opportunity, this individual support can help them to figure out how to traverse some of those barriers and how they can end up being successful. And, I want to be really clear, like financial support to help folks is really crucial. We recommend that pre-apprenticeship programs always do pay their participants as well. So that way it is something feasible for them to do. So we're not just asking for folks to volunteer their time to participate in this training, but for them to also be able to make some sort of living while they're doing this training so they can learn while they earn money and are able to continue to support their families as well. So all of these things are critical components to what I think would make a successful pre-apprenticeship program. And it's been an incredible opportunity to learn from some of these programs as well as help share ideas between these programs as well. And so what we keep hearing from these pre-apprenticeship programs around the country is this need for a standardized curriculum that can guide their programming and that can better align with the Department of Labor standards, because some of it's a bit confusing when you start looking on the apprenticeship.gov website. And so, in response to that, American Forest developed the arboriculture pre-apprenticeship curriculum. And we did this in collaboration with a cross-sector committee with representatives from local and federal government, the national and regional trade associations, private and public tree care employers, existing arboriculture and arboriculture apprenticeship and pre-apprenticeship programs, as well as representatives from academia as we were developing this curriculum. The curriculum was approved by TCIA, UAA, and ISA, and it incorporates these two main components that I was talking about. So I'll get into a little bit more in depth about what the curriculum includes, but we've thought it was really important to make sure that folks know that, this isn't just another skills, another program to help learn about hard skills, but also a way for folks to learn some of those skills that are going to help them just be successful in any workplace situation that they may not have had the opportunity to learn. And so that we always talk about those things being equal pillars to ensure that, we're providing a foundation for success. In our work readiness section, we have 4 main units. So there's the fundamental skills unit, the teamwork unit, success in the workplace, and applications and interviews. And in these units, there are some suggested trainings like appropriate and inappropriate workplace behaviors, conflict resolution, professional communication, how to pack a lunch, and planning for your workday, and many, many more. And so the how to pack a lunch training came from, when I was running a workforce program before my time in American Forests, we were just noticing that a lot of folks were not able to remember or had the skills to pack a lunch every single day. And it wasn't just something that they were used to doing. So having a training like that and normalizing it and making it something that is accessible and gives folks ideas of what to pack and how to pack it, and even just like food safety concerns, all of these things that we may not necessarily think about. But through, talking with individuals who are actually in these situations and who are looking to learn new skills, we have figured out some of these training sessions that we thought could be helpful to support their success. In the arboriculture skills section, it's a bit more of a hefty section. We have all of these, the committee members who are coming from some of our public and private employers, as well as our apprenticeship programs, informed us of some of the skills that would be extremely helpful for participants to have a foundation for in order for them to be successful. So obviously, a lot of this gets taught in the employment once they are employed or once they're in an apprenticeship program. Just having that foundation, if folks are coming from zero background of working outside, they might need to know some of those really, really basic tree ID or like tree basics, like even just like parts of a tree, to really like understand how to incorporate and build on that knowledge. And so this section has 6 units. There's the tree career pathways unit, the general safety unit, tree ID and biology, pruning basics, tree climbing and equipment, workplace safety and prevention. And these units have training session suggestions like tree ID, as I mentioned, pruning fundamentals, tree planting, basic equipment operation, intro to climbing and safety. And some of these sessions are coming directly from what's already in like year 1 of the apprenticeship program. And this is in order for our folks to have some of that repetition and be able to build on that learning, as I said, and having a foundation for understanding what they're talking about, once they enter into that next stage. And so we really wanted to make sure this is by no means a comprehensive, list of training sessions that folks can offer, but we just wanted to give people an idea of what you can include and what employers have stated are critical components that they would love to see out of the graduates of these pre-apprenticeship programs. My favorite part of the curriculum is the sample 8-week schedule that we provide. And so the pre-apprenticeship programs can span from 6 to 10 weeks, just depending on the type of the capacity that the organization might have, the time that they might have, feedback directly from folks that they've worked with. It just really can be tailored to whatever folks actually need. So if you'll see through the training session suggestions within each unit, it also gives a range of hours because it shows the minimum amount of time you can work on something and the maximum amount of time that you can work on, a type of training session as well. And so we provided an 8-week schedule just because it's in the middle of 6 to 10 weeks to kind of show how you can build on learning, what prerequisites would be helpful to know before you kind of dig into other sections, and also understanding like how you can pepper in the work readiness sections with the arboriculture skills sections in order for folks to not just be sitting, in a seat in the classroom for days on end without actually being able to touch a tree or being able to just apply their learning. And so a lot of folks who are getting into this industry are people who are outdoor people who like to learn hands-on, who like to be active while they're working all day. So we want to make sure to provide a sample for how you can do that to integrate in the different learning styles so folks can really absorb the information and be successful. And so here's my contact information and a link to the curriculum as well. We'll put that in the chat and, we can continue to share that with the participants here today. But I just wanted to put these links here so folks can get a sense of like how to reach that. Also, we have the Vibrant Cities Lab Career Pathways Action Guide that we created in conjunction with the USDA Forest Service as well, which is a really great guide to help folks figure out how to create career pathways programs within their own city. And so I wanted to share those two links and those two resources. And so this curriculum, as I said, it can be helpful for many organizations that are trying to start pre-apprenticeship and workforce programs. And they're designed to help people who may have barriers to employment who are interested in joining the tree care industry. And one of the American Forest's greatest partners doing this work on the ground is the park people in Denver, Colorado. So I would love to bring on Kim Yuan-Farrell to talk about how they are doing this work and how they use the curriculum and any additional support that we were able to provide from American Forests. So thank you so much.